Hello, today I'm going to be teaching you how to do the imperfect. Now, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, the imperfect is used in French to talk about the past over a period of time. Think about how we use was or were in English. If it was English, a sentence might be, I was walking my chihuahua, or you were feeding an aardvark. Get it? To form this conjugation in French, take a verb and you will find the new form in the present tense. Let's talk about gagner, which means to win. The new form of gagner in the present tense of nous gagnons, which means we were winning, we win, or we are winning. Now that we have that, let's drop the O and S. That gives us the root, which is also called the radical. This is the basis for almost all the verbs except for one notable verb, but I'll get to that later. Once you have the radical, you add an ending depending on which pronoun you are using. For both je and tu, you will end it with an AIS. For il, elle, on, and que, you will end it with an AIT. For nous, you add an IONS, and for vous, you add IEZ. And finally, for ils, elles, you use AIENT. So conjugating gagner with je, we would add an AIS to the radical, so it would be je gagnais, which means I was winning. Following the same format as je, we could use tu gagner, which means you were winning. Then comes il, elles, on, and que, which would be conjugated as il, or elle, or on, or que gagner, and translate to he, she, slash she, slash one, slash who was winning. After that, you use nous, which is conjugated nous gagnons, and translates to we were winning. Next comes vous, which conjugates to vous gagnez, which translates to you were all winning. Finally, we use ils and elles, which conjugates to ils es gagnés, and translates to they, male or female, were winning. Now comes the irregular verb that I was talking about earlier, être. Être is strange because in the present tense it doesn't have an O and S. So since we can't drop the O and S, we pick a completely different radical, et. You still use AIS, AIT, IONS, IEZ, and AIENT on it though. Let's try some examples, shall we? A good example is nous dansions, which means we were dancing. Another example, you say? Very well. Il vendait, which means he was selling. Not enough? How about tu vomisses, which means you were vomiting. Note that the ISS is because in the nous form of IR, for IR, in the present tense there is an extra ISS. Manger is a good example of this. When manger is in the present tense, it has an extra E in the nous form, so it conjugates with an extra E. For example, the sentence nous mangiez, which translates to I was eating. And I suppose that concludes the examples. Now you're ready to go out into the world and tell people about things you've done in French.